Hey guys, Rex here. How ridiculous would it be for Ford Motor Corporation, for example, to just replace their engineers and their test drivers with marketing people? Oh, you're a marketing person. Let's let you design the car. You know what the people want. You just design this. Man, I'll tell you what. I hope you guys never catch the disease of expecting excellence from your peers in your tier, okay? I know a few real good guys. I try to only hang out with people that are excellent because I can't hang out. I cannot tolerate foolishness. I ran out of idiot lube. I don't have any more. I run out. My fuse is already pre-burned. I'm serious. Like, it actually does me pain. See flashing lights from the blood pressure. When stuff is not done efficiently, exactly, with precision in the way it's supposed to be done. And the funny thing is, it's so simple for stuff to be done exactly right the first time. But what's the problem? What is the problem? You guys want to know the secret in the gun industry? You want to know? So, you got guys with actual experience. Guys with actual experience who go out there every day and do this in real life for decades and decades and decades and decades. And then you have business guys, God bless them, who hire, I don't know, man, like they hire good idea fairies out of college with zero experience, zero tangible experience in the specific field. They don't even know they're not hiring the right guy in the specific field, but then they become this middleman and they are given somehow this magic wand that they can just touch a perfect project with their good idea to restylize engineering diagrams of a precise tool that destroys its functionality because someone thought it would look nicer if it would be built like this. That's how the French build things, and guess what? They're not the world's most successful or famous engineers, are they? There's jokes about it. What in the world does it take to help out? Man, the gun industry is terrible. There's so many enthusiasts in there. That's cool. They play video games. They have flat range experience. And I'm not talking crap against competitive shooting or nothing like that, but it's not the field. It is a different kind of experience. The pressures are different. The functionality is completely different in the field than in planking or in even just paper target shooting or shooting from a bench. That's fun. I do that. I teach classes on that. But I try to bring field experience to the classes to make it functional for real life applications. But like, you get enthusiasts, and they're good, that they learned at college at bolstering up their resume or something to like, I really like that Jason Bourne movie. I think that we should put should be the design for the gun. This should be the design for the projectile. This should be the design for the reticle. This should be the design for the frickin' tires on the truck. Oh, we should I think the engine should look more like this. Like, dude, there is a saying in engineering, extreme engineering from above, from the creator, that you'll see in nature, in biology, in biological systems. Form follows function. But if you don't know what the function is, because they don't have experience, how in the hell can you micromanage the form? Here's a story, man. I'll tell you what. Years ago, man, I shouldn't tell this one. We'll see what happens. I hope I don't get in trouble. I was hanging out with an extremely on fire, lit up, zero patience left, old Green Beret. We're drinking Pendleton, talking. He was a sniper, right? And he went way beyond all that stuff too. He had a lot of different other experiences working with the SOF community and doing stuff for years. And we're talking about scopes. And we're drinking Pendleton. Okay? And I don't know what kind of traumatic brain injuries or because he's had grenades go off in the room with him before and it messed him up, right? So I understand the patience might even be truncated a little more. But he was whiteboarding out for me. And I picked up on the disease of excellence as well, too, because I've talked to a number of guys. He's not the first guy that told me this. Other guys in the SOF community. I talked to SEALs. I talked to Green Berets. I talked to guys from CAG. I mean, I know a lot of these guys. And because of my job, I work with, companies and stuff like that, trying to deliver or find or promote or whatever. Like, hey, man, this deal doesn't exist. They're like, Rex, is there a scope I can use in the war that doesn't suck? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, is there something like with all this stuff in there? I'm like, I know, I can't find it either. Guys, do you know how long I've been looking for certain things, certain tools that don't exist? They end up using, dude, with all the other gear, just as an example, they have to duct tape stuff together and use paracord and tie shit down to construct and jerry-rig tools that don't exist. Why? Because some frickin' colonel or a senator or the good idea fairy at a company jumped in there with their magic wand and their clipboard, mouth hanging open, just, what are you doing, guys? We're designing the specific tool of war for these applications here as listed below. Here is the summary of the design parameters. Do you know what a parameter is? It's limiting quantifiable numbers on each side that say, do not go past this one, do not go past this one, this should not be here. You see the center of the thing that you use to target the bad guy? Why is this stuff in the way right there? And then why is this part open where you need that part? Well, it looks a little better when it's balanced like this. What the hell? The St. Mario Brothers. This is not Super Mario Brothers. This is not up, down, left, right, BA, select, start, Contra, 30 lives. This is a tool for real life. I don't care what's on your video game. And, the market doesn't want that. What the hell would the market... How do you know? The market's never seen the proper tool ever. Look at the Alice pack from the old days. Go find some rangers who actually carried stuff in the army and look at their backpacks. Their Alice packs. Is it original? No, it's extremely modified. They take parts off, throw them away. They sew new parts on. They have to tie shit together with duct tape. Why? Because the good idea fairy. The good idea fairy comes around and somehow in the boardroom gets equal airtime to the experts, the subject matter experts with experience in the field. So my old Green Beret buddy, he's on the whiteboard and he's more pissed than I am, times 10. And he's like, I try to explain to my guys, because he's like a team sergeant, right? He's like, how am I supposed to tell my snipers what that is if that doesn't do this? Why is this like this? Why? What the hell? You need this. What if you dial in? Now you need to do a micro, can't do it now. Well, I don't know why you would need the numbers going this way. That's right. Maybe you wouldn't know why the numbers would need to go this way. Good idea fairy in a boardroom that screwed up the design. Well, that's like, the gun only shoots this far, therefore that's the numbers. You are in your own Mario Brothers myopic paradigm of in my experience, which is very little, I could only imagine it being used for this application. What about observations and communications and all the other stuff that guys do, which is the 99% context of tools like that? What the hell? Wow, who's going to use that? How would you know? Never existed yet. Never seen it before. Well, there's been a few in that category that existed 15, 20 years ago. But it was before, I don't know what, there's other ones now. There are a few that are close, very close to hitting the bullseye. In universal RANT. Anyone in an engineering field can relate to what I'm saying in their field, right? Okay? But I'll tell you what, my kingdom, I would give half my kingdom. Actually, they should give me half their kingdom for me blessing them with all the hundreds of years of collective experience mentors have blessed me with on refining down systems that work good and be like, here's exactly what you need. You would basically be the Wizard of Oz status if you created this. You would be like whatever the thing is. I don't know. the king of Ethiopia. Who's the guy with all the gold? You know, stacked the Sultan in that movie, Secondhand Lions. You'd be that guy with all the gold stacked behind you if you had ears, but you don't. You're sitting there with your clipboard, and you invite some 25-year-old kid who's never done this shit in real life. Well, you know, I was a JAG in the Air Force, and I used a gun in the like, dude, stop. How is this even possible? This would never happen. Maybe it happens in the automotive field. You guys tell me. Does this shit happen in your field? Some guy, does the lady who picks out like what kind of pinstripe should go on the car walk into the engineering department and be like, I don't know why you made the camshaft like that. That's just not very stylistic. Like, dude, shut up. Stop it. So I get an email this morning from a bro. And gosh darn it, man. We're both just like heart sinks, like gave exact specifications, which are so awesome that it should be highly guarded information, but like with confidence that like, okay, execute this and it'll be amazing. It'll be good for all of us. Nope. Good idea, fairy jumped in there. What do you just grab? Oh, I see they want an engine. No, we want this specific exact engine with these specific exact specifications. Like on this drawing. Did you even read it? We want, so they just grab some stuff off the shelf and like stylize it similar to what they glanced at? What the hell? These are specific parameters for specific reasons that apparently nobody knows about. Dude, I would give half my kingdom for someone to actually like listen on optics design, rifle design, projectile design. Like everyone's stuck in these paradigms of exactly what needs to exist. And there's old school ways of doing this. Nobody takes the advice of professionals. Now in other subgenres, you know, in some genres there are stuff, you know, there are certain items that are pretty snazzy. They work pretty good, right? Gosh darn it is frustrating. It is extremely frustrating. The good idea fairy just like spilling their cappuccino on your blueprints, like leaning over your shoulder. Hey, what do you got there? Like, would you like me to explain this to you so that you can appropriately market this? Yeah, just like, oh, I spilled my cappuccino on it. Oh, I like, and that's, no, they draw a unicorn on it, whatever the hell, like, oh, this is a good idea. Like, what the hell field did you come from? What was your job before, while you were in college? What did you do the whole time before you got hired here? That's my question, because I'm an independent consultant. I can make fun of whoever I want. I have total freedom to absolutely tell you guys the truth. Have you not been frustrated with that? Who here in the comments below, raise your hand and affirm who here would love to see tools of war that are actually done correctly? Wouldn't that be a nice thing to have? It is unbelievable. I think the reason for it is in certain fields like small arms, a huge part of the market pressure is the civilian market. And because of that, a huge influx of brand new people, which is good. There's the pressure differential is not discernible between the civilian market and the actual, it actually, the pollution from existing, like for example, there ain't a lot of different mortar rounds for the civilian market, so there's no civilian market pressure on the military industrial complex side of things. Understand that? Like there's not a lot of F-16 heads-up displays on the civilian market to like basically pollute the pressure of the actual use of what that would be good for, right? But in small arms, there is. And so when you're talking about tools of war specific to, you know, small arms, optics, field equipment, I mean, even boots and rucksacks and your LBEs or whatever they call it nowadays, all that stuff, they're continuously refining it because people just buy that stuff all the time. And I'm not going to say a mean word, but a lot of people LARP, right? Which is fine. That's cool. I used to play Army when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like when I was I'd put on my dad's old nom gear or whatever. But the experience level differential is different. It's not that it's superior in one or the other. It's just that the pressures, it gets conflated with marketing people. Okay? Because there is a perfect spot in the market, for example, for a Tasco pronghorn. $27 or whatever they used to cost, right? With a duplex reticle, 3x9, second focal plane, absolutely a market pressure for that. That is perfect for. There's also a perfect market pressure for the Leupold fixed 30x target scope with the target turrets in minute of angle, second focal plane. There's absolutely a pressure for that. Try doing that silhouette shooting, at 600 yards with 22s and stuff. There are fields like that, but there's also pressures for actual warfighting stuff, which is different. It's not superior to the guy trying to kill a white-tailed deer. It's not superior to the guy trying to win a competition. It's different, though. The field is different. I'm not saying man, how many of you guys are going to, count how many people are emoting below, crying like a little girl. Rex's beefsteak doesn't even know that lay down your NASCAR jacket for 1 second and calm down. Take a breath. Take a breath. The entire world doesn't revolve around you. Some of it revolves around other tasks as well. Rex hates competition. No, that's not what I said. Why so emotional? What is that? What's that an indicator of? Come over to Patreon. We make fun of guys like that all the time. We kick them out of our classes all the time. Dude, you're not mature enough to be here if you're emotional about that, right? There is righteous frustration and indignation against things that are inefficient and stupid and things like that. But then there's the emoting part, which is connected to pride, ego, self-centeredness, which is stuff that's filtered out. Discern the differences between different forms of rage. Join Patreon today. Okay? I'm sorry, it's the coffee. No, it's wind's picking up on here. I'm getting windy. Trying to adjust the camera to. Sorry about the wind, guys. And I got a couple good buddies that are in, for example, the optics industry, right? And they're smart dudes. They know it. They know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to name them, but I've got a couple that know that a bunch of professionals and myself are sitting there just patiently waiting for decades for someone to listen to them because they know what we're talking about. They share the frustration with us. They're like, dude, I know I've designed this thing 50 times. Every time I submit this design, someone somewhere fails to see the details. Did you know that attention to details is a survival skill? Let this be a business survival skill lesson maybe too. Don't pay attention to the details? What the hell? Unqualified people stepping outside their lanes, making stylistic modifications to engineering blueprints is anathema to everything that real guys have been fighting for this whole time. America is about the pursuit of excellence. Dude, you know what it is? If you guys want to really hear the truth, I'm trying to block the wind. That's why the camera angle's stupid right now. Sorry. Here's the truth. Kids below my age, I'm right on the border of kids that man, you talk to kids 5 or 10 years younger than me. I'm not really feeling my job, Rex. I'm you got a really interesting job doing this amazing stuff. Well, maybe. They don't make me feel special. What? Your job is about feeling special? How about this? Let me rewire your brain. How about you start feeling special for being an excellent person? That's where you feel special. you be an excellent person. It's not that your job needs to make you feel special. You are the one that needs to execute excellence and be special. They're not going to make you feel special if you're not special. And if they do, then you're going to suck. And you're going to continue to suck in life. You need to decide to execute excellence. When I washed dishes as a kid. I worked at a restaurant before. I mean, I had freaking back-breaking labor. I had to do farming stuff. I had to crawl on the ground and pull and count weeds for the university. Like when I was a kid, it was pretty tedious work. And I was not super appreciated immediately. But you know why? Because I had to develop a reputation for kicking ass at everything that I would do. And when I washed dishes, I was I can say this with confidence, was the most excellent dishwasher that ever existed at that place until it went down, which it did. And before that, they had a name for me. Because it's not about, I identify with my career identity and they need to show more appreciation. Dude, shut up and do your job then. Kick ass at what you do. How is it possible you expect to have praise bestowed upon you when you fail to execute excellence? Excellence is not mediocrity. Kick ass in your job. Whether that be washing dishes, is that above you, man? Or are you above that? Come on, do a good job, right? And then if you're a guitar player, listen to Ted Nugent. Uncle Ted knows what's going on with that. The shit kickers are who built America, not people moping around with a clipboard who got out of high school or college, God forbid. I got a degree, but I don't really, I played a lot of Mario Kart, Rex, and I think that we should put this onto this battle rifle because then you can attach a turtle shell. Shut up. Stop playing Mario Kart. Get back in your lane and listen to Grandpa with the gray beard over there who told you what to do properly. And then with excellence, execute what the wise guys say. Why do we neglect our elders? What is our problem? And then when we hear correction, what happens? I'm offended. Everything's emotionally absorbed and interpreted in America. Other places usually know how to work and have basically they understand the concept of achieving the goal, right? Because they're in a survival setting. We're not. We're precious little house pets that don't want to stain the white carpet with our little Cheerios or whatever, stumbling around in pajamas all day. Mommy sends you to college, you don't have to work for nothing. And then it's all about getting petted on the head and everyone telling you to do it. Dude, you should see the generation of kids working in the modern oil field, the educated ones, like the engineers and stuff. A lot of them are pretty good. So sensitive. The sensitive oil field engineers. What the hell? Just so-and-so yelled at me. Why'd you have to use that tone of voice when he told me I did the job wrong, when I miscalculated the annular space? Because it costs millions of dollars. You cost us millions of dollars because you calculated the number wrong and you weren't paying attention. Why? Because you were sitting there with your cappuccino, imagining how important you should be treated. Do your job. Are you sick and tired of worrying about those space aliens sneaking around in your cornfields or those Chinese Terminator flesh-eating robots coming in over the horizon? If so, join us in the RX Classroom exclusively on Patreon, where you can learn how to deal with these problems and much, much more. Where you can trust the science, where facts are still facts and feelings are put into a bag. If you enjoy this, then join us. If you do not want to do science, then join a lower tier and enjoy what we got to say. It's all a good time on the TiborasaurusRex Patreon channel. Throw a couple quarters in the can.